Up to over here, the Vovum advice. So we mentioned over here machlokes between Ma'ban Uda, Rishon Uda, Shiny. What's the difference between the first two Uda and second Uda? Various different opinions. So there's a shot over here between machlokes Reb Luza and Reb Shimon, Reb Lezer and Reb Shimon. If the first Uda is good for Megillah or not, or it's the second Uda. Omer Pchi by over Omer Reb Yochanan. That's what we're holding there. Bottom of the few lines before the bottom. We're passing Reb Shimon Gamliel, then Reb Yossi, that the second Uda is the main Uda. Omer Reb Yochanan v'shnayim bikar echadoshi, they both dash the same posik. Shetem posik, the kaim alayim yes, oisim yimei b'posik. B'chol shuna v'shuna. Reb Lezer Reb Yossi, so b'chol shuna v'shuna, like every year. Ma kol shuna v'shuna, odos melech Shvat, be the other which is next to Shvat. Afkan, odos melech Shvat. So the first Uda is when you do Purim. This is all the next to Nissen. Is Afkan Uda Nissen, also it's all Uda next to Nissen as well. Take more Bishlam with the Blazer Reb Yossi. Mr. Tame, the I'm Vina la mitzvahs. If you have the opportunity to do the mitzvah now, why push it off? Elu, Reb Shimon Gamliel, my Tame. Reb Tovi Tame Reb Shimon Gamliel, because Masmer Gil Uda, because he holds. Go to Mesechta, go to Purim, put the two closer rather than having Uda Rishon, a break, Uda Shiny, then listen. Brazen my time the Rebunan, Shimon Gamliel, Mocha the Ksiv the Kaim is Segeris in Purim has a shyness. Shyness was second what it means over here, but it means shyness means to say you do the second Uda. The Itzach Lemichte, shyness, Itzach Lemichte Bechosh, which means both psikim. Die Bechosh Lashona have make a cushion. Chosh means like every year, Odran Samach Leshvat. The first Uda. Chosh Lashon does not apply necessarily the second Uda. It means do the same as every year, but which way? I don't know. Kamash Milan Hashanis to do the second one. If Yesh Min Hashanis have a minute, with Chile Berishin B'Shani, Kamash Milan B'Chosh Lashon, we thought maybe to do both. Hashanis, maybe to do both over here. Sai Uda Sashani. It's Kamash Milan Chosh Lashon, they do like every single year, only one. Reb Lezer, Reb Yossi.
Sorry, how can it use that pasuk or use shayness as a proof? Because what would shayness mean all the other years when it's not?
No, so the pasuk of here is referring to shayness is referring to lekaim ikis apim hazos shayness. This pasuk is referring to a year, the second letter they were mekayim b'yom b'chal. It's not referring to this over here. But they could have said the pasuk could have said the kaim is ikis apim hazos. Why this extra word? Kamashma when there's two, you do the second one. So when there's two, you do the second one.
Right.
But if there isn't two, you only do one.
Okay, but then the shayness.
Make to say when there's two, but I would have thought, then you do, when it's two, you do this, you do both. Without B'chol Shon V'Shon, I would have thought Hashayness means to do that. If there's a second one, you do both. You do the first and the second one. Kamash B'chol Shon V'Shon, but you do like every year, only one. Which one? The second one. Reb Lezer, Reb Yossi, Hashayness, my Ovedlai, the boiler, the V'Shmir, Revida, Betchile cover Shisha. Listen, in the psik in the beginning, they only kavas Purim only in Shusha. Lebasov, the second way, B'chol Killer, they were kavas the second time which will kavas Purim all around the world. The text over here mentions of Vovim Abayis that the Yisod of I'm Ravina al Mitzvahs we see in his murav here is different than what we are used to elsewhere in Shas. Generally, Amr al Mitzvahs is what we know, which is the guy every single day in the morning you take out putting your talis. That if you have talis and tefillin, Amr al Mitzvahs. Well, that's why we have talis in front to put on talis first. So we have an issue, put on tefillin first. That's Amr al Mitzvahs. I have a mitzvah over here, Amr al Mitzvahs. Here the question is not Amr al Mitzvahs. The question is, should you do Purim today or do it to next month? That's an Amr al Mitzvahs. That's just when to do it. The Tosfos over here. Wir schreiben forschen der Scheich noch einmal einmal wieder Mitzvahs. Heiche schest von der Mitzvahs, schest las es koidem aus der Pogebreische. Wir sind eine der Hoche. The Hoche lecker in the Mitzvah Achas. This is not the same thing. There's only one mitzvah. The question to do it. So this is not the classical case of einmal wieder Mitzvahs. So this is, but is some sort of einmal wieder Mitzvah. So with this, Mefarshim explain with this Tosfos Pshat Megmurvi, because this is a fundamental kasha here. Like, okay, he says Odar Samach L'Nisin, Odar Samach L'Shvat, and he says no. I'm the mitzvah is no. What's the argument about over here? So the is a famous Chacham Tzvi that discusses the Chivas or Tvaz. Tvaz is a question: someone's in jail and gets 1 day out of the jail free card. Which day should he choose? He can come on Rosh Hashanah, Or you can come in a regular amount they put on film. It's trying it's vast. I'm even on mitzvahs. You do the first day. Come out today. You don't wait for the end of the year. Because we told you this, Moshe Fashion Shalom. If you should wait, who knows? But Hashem is Shamal and this over there. But let's not be telling every single shir in that same question over there. But look at vast. I'm even on mitzvahs. You have a mitzvah for any right now, dude. It's a shvacher mitzvah. It's not the best mitzvah right now. You can let's say time in film. Let's say a mitzvah of doing something like something so basic. It's just a shvacher mitzvah. Even the biggest mitzvah of the year, whatever it is of the year, you don't wait. The Chamtzi brings a Tim Sedeshin, which is very the guy as well, we do all the time. Kiddush Levuna. Should you wait for Motzei Shabbos or not? Here in England, rains all the time. It's a shalom if you should wait or not. Yeah, exactly. Over there. It's funny because actually, people in England would say in the winter, it's not going to have to wait. I want to check this. It actually rains more in the summer than the winter. So the summer is actually more of an issue. It could be maybe it's more cloudy in the winter, but it's actually rain-wise, it rains more in the summer than the winter. So I don't know if it's the Klula Psycho applies over here. But what mapped over here? What's a second? So he says, Tzadeshin says, you should wait for the Shabbos. Why? Because Shabbos, you leave Mevissim and good you wear Shabbos clothing, therefore it's preferable. So you see from there, at the same Shabbos, I could do Kiddush Levuna today, not so great. I could do it in 4 days. The Hidder, you should wait. And the Chamstek Paskins that you don't have to if you do a mitzvah today, you do it in 4 days, wait. So they want to be telling the same thing over here as well. This is Zichra, to do Purim before Pesach is much better. Masmach Gula Lagula. It's a Zichra more to do a Purim, which the Purim is right next to Pesach. It's much more better. But the Blazer holds, like Tosis Surah, like he says, I'm even on the mitzvahs. I can't wait. But the Shimon holds, that's not called I'm even on the mitzvahs. I'm a mitzvahs over here. I'm going to have 2 mitzvahs. But here, if I have 1 mitzvah to do it today, I could do it better than a month. Do it better than a month. That's a machlokes over here between the Blazer and the Shimon. I didn't see my notes before that such stuff too.
So Mahalach, the differences that one considers. Which one is got dinner kodesh? Which one's good?
Which is the main? Which is not the main? It's mainly the guy that got yards, birthdays, mitzvahs, all these things of well. Yeah.
Has it been Shana?
Yeah, I think John will be passing everything is the second month. I don't know. That's a different exactly. Yeah. And the chayk we passing like a Shimon. Yeah. Omer b'shemil b'rebide shachalem Esther sent the chachomim after the nissim of the bechuma. Kavili l'doris you should be kavas Purim l'doris shachila kina atma ares alayne barimis. It's better not. Let's not make a big deal about this Purim. All the nations will get angry. They'll get upset. They'll get look. They're rejoicing at the downfall of the goyim. Let's keep this low key. Shachila kakazvini ani. Ala divra hayomim lemalchem modir puris. And the Marshus must be all lives in the psikim over here. This is what we say in them over here. Elohim ksivim. The Sefer Purim Mudas. Mean to say that this is what you're saying over here. That this is all written over here. I mean to say that this is all. We don't have to. Everybody knows about Ness already, and therefore there's nothing wrong with us being fast and the rest is celebrating over here. Rav v'Chanina. Rav Yochanan and Rav Chaviva. Master they learned. So the Agav, the killer side of the moed. Whenever it's taught these 4 ziggers, these 2 couples over here inside the moed. Kolki Hazigya, Khalifa changed Reb Yochanan and Reb Yonis. It's not that some people learn that you have to change Reb Yochanan for Reb Yonis. Shachanam, back to what was said over here. Shachanam Esther Chachomim. Because you need the Darius, right over here, the Darius. Shachila, so they sent back to over here. Halok Safti Lachu Shalishim. Suppose in Mishlei, the Shamelech writes over here. Shalishim below Rebbein. So Rashi learns in Pshat means over here. At the end of Bechis Hamulek, it's written 3 times. It's written in the Sefer Shemais. It's written in the Sefer Bar, I believe, what I should say. Dvarim, yes. And the Sefer Shmuel. And therefore, it's written 3 times. We don't need a 4th time anymore. 3 times. Therefore, we don't need a 4th time over here. Shemais, Beshataya, the Sefer Shmuel. The problem with that is that Litva asks, like, where is this Mavir and that Shlomo Melech is saying, talking about Chis Hamulek? I mean, where does it say in the Pusuk of I mean, where does it say that? So he says that Shlomo Melech writes over here, something else completely over here. I mean to say that these 3, Shir Hashirim, Keheles, and Mishlei, these 3 can be added to the Sefer Chovdalat Sefer Kodesh, and not any other Spurim. I mean to say, the Chacham said to him, you see when the Shlomo Melech said that nothing further can be added on to Sefer Kodesh anymore. This is it, we can't add on anymore. You want to add on another Sefer to Sefer Kodesh anymore? We can't add another one to the Chovdalat Sefer Kodesh anymore. This is Rak Nemetsky is very nicely masbid this in the Sefer Anach. That's how the thing went about. There was many Sforim written throughout, but the greats, whoever was, before the actually still came and sort of canonized everything of the Chovdal Sefer Tanakh. They chose certain things, yes, certain things not. What they knew, B'Mecha Kodesh, Kehelis, yes, was you find in the Gemuris, they were mistapik, should have put Kehelis and not Kehelis. They were mistapik, should have been going as Shira Shirim and not Shira Shirim. And so the question was, should Esther go? And we also have Megillah Santichus. Megillah Santichus was written later, of course, but it wasn't made part of Chodas Sefer Kodesh. It was written later, so it was already closed. But there are things which not everything was put in. We have the Sforim Chatzonim, the Chachmei Shloime, Ben Sir. There are various Sforim which are written at that time, which are never made part of the Torah. Never made part of it. So therefore, there was a shaila. Should Esther? They said no, because these three, and that's not adding anymore. That's it. The book's closed. No more adding anymore. That's what we're going to go through Rashi's Mahalach over here. It's referred to Mechis Samulek. Actually, Martin and Mikkel Megillah and Torah. They found the Pusas in Torah. Ksayv Zoy Zikorim B'Sayfer. That was like Ksayv Zoy. The meaning of Mechis Samulek. This Pusas of Mechis Samulek. Kimocha Em Chazay Chamulek. Ksayv Zoy Mashakusav Khan. Nine in Mission Torah. So Zoy means right. This in the Torah. Torah is including Shemois, Mission Torah, right over here. Zikorim. You could mention it again. Mashakusav Benavim. B'Sayfer. So the head is Miriam is the word B'Sayfer. But the Megillah that the inner Mechis Samulek can be discussed. The Kiddush be Miriam is a fourth time. Mashakusav B'Megillah. Katuruzim with some Machlokes Tanuim. Ksayv Zoyis Mashkusav Khan, Zikur Mashkusav Mishnah Torah, B'Seif Mashkusav B'Neviah. The Rav Shishim, she holds that there is no pusik that Megillah says is part of the Ksiv. Megillah says does not have that level to be part of the Ksiv. Megillah says is a Chush B'Seifer, but not part of the Kizvah Kodesh. The Blazer Meduim Ksayv Zoyis Mashkusav Khan, Mishnah Torah is a Kurin, Khan in Mishnah Torah, Zikur Mashkusav B'Neviah, B'Seif Mashkusav Megillah. So therefore, according to him, it is like we have that the Megillah is part of the Chov Dalat Sefer Kodesh. Umar Vida Shmir. As the Eine mit Tames Yadayim, there's a din in the Mesechta Shabbos. It's taught over there, part of the Yitzchak's room. Chazal goes on that they didn't want people used to put the sforim together with the trimmer next over there, and then the mice used to come and they used to eat the trimmer, and they would also eat the sforim. So we say that anybody touches the sefer is mit Tames Yadayim. Tchilas become Tames Yadayim. If you put your trimmer next to the sforim, it will become tumah. So therefore, this way people won't put the sum with the trimmer. Now this is only by Chovdal Sefer Kodesh, not every single sefer. Esther does not have that level. Esther is not metame esidayim. Esther is not metame esidayim. It does not have the level. It's not metame esidayim. So when remember the Suva Shmuel Esther la Bricha Kodesh nemra. Obviously Shmuel understood that Esther wasn't written with Bricha Kodesh, and therefore does not have the status, the level of Chovdal Sefer Kodesh because it wasn't written with Bricha Kodesh. V'omar Shmuel. Esther Bricha Kodesh Nemre. Shmuel was in a second that Esther was written Bricha Kodesh. So when Nemre Riklas v'lo Nemre Lichtov. This is a big challenge Shana Matanos over here. Me to say that the Shmuel holds that Megillah Esther was written, not written, was said, was written to be said Bricha Kodesh. Me to say it was like Torah Shabbat Peh. It was over here. It was given over to be as a story which will be transmitted to Torah Shabbat Peh, to be said to Torah Shabbat Peh. But the story was said over Bricha Kodesh, but it wasn't at the level to be written down. There's a difference in going to be said to be written. This is as Kashas over here that we find most of the whoever reads Megillah or Peh is not Yotze. How's the Shmuel? This is that even according to Shmuel, but they're Bunan, you have to write it down as well. This is but then the kids do it right now. The Mura holds right now according to Shmuel that Esther was never likros, but I never lichter. It was said to be read, not said to be said. This is Mahachas Shematan over here. Mais weiter, mai oime keheles einem tam. Keheles also not tam stam. Keheles is also not from the Kizvah Kodesh. And machlekes masham besidl b'shir Shiurim if tam yadayim is not. Rabbi Yossi Roth, shir Shiurim is b'tam yadayim according to everybody. And machlekes masham besidl is b'keheles. Reb Shimon oime keheles mikil b'sham yechim besidl. They hold that b'keheles is b'sham is Michael more than besidl, and they hold that it's not b'tam yadayim. Averis, B'shir Shiurim, Esther, those all three are Zich Matamis Yadayim. So you see the parish over here that Esther is Matamis Yadayim. So how could Shmuel say Sam Matamis Yadayim? So he, the Omar created Yeshir, she said before that Esther, it says over there, Kosav Zois, Zikorim Meseifer, we said that according to Yeshir, it means Kosav Zois, Shmois, Zikorim, Zikurim Mashkusa B'Shem Torah, and Seif Mashkusa B'Nevim. So here, according to him, is no makar that you can write to Gillas Esther down. So according to Bashir and according to Shmuel, Esther is not in the level of Chavdal Sefer Kodesh, and therefore
all these mandamrim say that either Keheles or Shiurim is not Matam Yadayim. So they all hold that these aren't.
Yeah. So when we say Richa Kodesh Nemer over here, meaning the level of the Chavnats of a Kodesh, they won't give it on that sort of level. Yeah, but it's not the level of there's a famous chiva from a Divrei Chaim. It talks about there, but if it's Sefer Chaim Kodesh written Richa Kodesh or not. Whoever said there's a Rebbe on school that said it wasn't, and the question if he could be fired or not. They said they could because it was Richa Kodesh. And there's some that brought down every Sefer up until the Shachar Richa Kodesh. So I mean, the Shachar Richa Kodesh, or surely Esther was. I'm saying, So I don't know if it means the same Richa Kodesh. I mean, there's a certain nobody's denying over here that we'll see in a second that Esther had Richa Kodesh was discussed in a second the Gemara, but Shemir was a great Sura, but it didn't have the level to sort of be written. The Chazon Ish does say Sura, and I apologize, I didn't have a chance to look at my notes properly before. The Chazon Ish does say it's a Sura. According to Kila Alma Kehelis Shiurim Matari, there's no question about that. And this was saying that Chachmus Shloimer, it's not Mamash Torah. It means it was a level of Teresh Peh. It means it wasn't Teresh B'Ksav. It was like we said before by Esther. It was Teresh Peh. And it was written only by Bechidus of Eis Tas Hashem Efer Teresecha. Be'etzem, Kehelis, Shiurim, these were all the great Chalik of Torah, but not Teresh B'Ksav, Teresh Peh. It's a different sort of Torah. It's a different sort of level. And even it's not Yechodesh Nemra, it doesn't mean that it wasn't was some sort of a book of poetry. It means that it was Teresh Peh level of not to be written down, and Shlomo written down because Eis Tas Hashem Efer Teresecha. And Kamash Malon over here that it's time is to die. That's how the Chazon Ish explains it. Zoom me back, Tag letter Bryce of Shimon ben Siyum. Kehelis Adam mit Tamas Daim mit Nash Chachmus Shlomi. He holds also it's not Tamas Daim because it's only Chachmus Shlomi. It wasn't said Richa Kodesh. It's not the level of Kisva Kodesh. Amilai v'Chiziba v'Adoma. It's obviously not true because Shlomi Melech had many other wise things. V'loi Kvar. Nama ve'Dabesh Loishes Alof Moshe. They had 3,000 Moshudim, and it doesn't say mention the Mishnah 3,000 Moshudim. Elamai, these the ones which were written down. These was things which were said. Richa Kodesh. Everything else was Richa Kodesh. Va'oyma nacharaya. Shed the pusik al toisev advurav. Not to add on to my words. You see, the Shlomo said, "This is it. Don't add on anything further, because this is Chalik Redziv Kodesh. Nothing else can be added on." Why can't it be added on? What's in the second pusik? The chid time you think. My mitzvah. My Bami said many. He wrote somebody didn't write down. He had 3,000 Meshulim. He picked the best of 3,000. Shlomo Kliger, the Welt says he wrote 335 Surim, 375 Surim. Kamina Shlomo. That's what the Welt says. It's not true. He didn't write them at his Surim, but he wrote over 170 Surim. How do we know that? Because he actually, each Sefer he writes, which number he's only got. Like in the last Sefer he writes is like 170 something. He definitely wrote a tremendous amount of Surim. He had a library, a room. He would come in and he would dictate to each person what to write. And we had you write this, like this. He wrote a tremendous amount. Well, he was the greatest Shiva writer in his time. He wrote over 3,000 Shivas. He wrote tremendous. He wrote. The Welt says when the Sefer Ktufs came out, you'd be like, wow, an amazing Sefer. He said, a big deal. He says he wrote one Sefer. He said every good word he had, he put into the Sefer. I would take all my hundreds of Svarim and choose the best word in every Sefer, put in one Sefer. It'll be the best Sefer in the world. I wrote much more. So, if you write everything, it's true. If you take the best what the Shlomo on every single Sefer, you will have the most amazing Sefer in the world. Yeah, fine, okay. So he never wrote a Sefer after that. Obviously, whatever he's Machadash of it. The Ma'ab Moser, everything was very young. But the kid is the Shala point over here is that Shlomo had many things to say. He shows this, the best ones over here. So what's the right that's Richa Kodesh? And R Yossi asked you to add on more words because you remember that this was Richa Kodesh, nothing else could be written on anymore. Tani Rebbe's Oime, Esther Richa Kodesh, Esther was Richa Kodesh. Nema, but what's the right? Had to put some Yom and Hum believe Esther's mind of it, the Chayz of Megillah mind that Haman said in his heart. How do they know? That anyway, Richa Kodesh. Bekiva Esther Richa Kodesh Nema. She found favor in all their eyes. How do you know? Did you ask them? It was no one to Mat. How was it no one to him? It's not a raya written Richa Kodesh. You said that they had Richa Kodesh. Yes, the Megillah say that Matcha knew because they had Richa Kodesh. And that so what's the raya over here? Bachal over here that was written Richa Kodesh. So the Mashum that obviously that's not no question had Richa Kodesh. But if it wasn't written Richa Kodesh, then it wouldn't have been Megala in the Pusik refers that there was the had Richa Kodesh. I don't know the connection why, but it's Mashum that seems like in order to sort of give over the Torah, to make a part of, and to write over here explicitly, Dvar Mashiach HaKodesh must be this itself as Mashiach HaKodesh. The Yossi ben Damascus, what does he say? Esther HaKodesh Shnema Ibabizela Sholches Yuda. And it says throughout the entire empire, no one took part in the spoils of war. So how do they all know that? There's a joke they say that you're allowed to say jokes now because Purim Torah, that in the Galatiana places the people more stingy. This pasuk they said with the Nigan of Eicha. What a loss. Mashmir. I have a husband. If I had been there, I have a minute most of these I would have said a better guy. Shnama Kimi Vikibli. What does it mean? Kimi Vikibli. It says Kimi Vikibli. Allah Hidam Alayim. What does it mean? Kimli Lamar, they were Makayim Shemayim, Masha Kibli Lamatsu. Then were Makayim, they said they agreed, they certified what they said in Shemayim, what they were Makabad on. How does he know that? How do the people going to know that over here? There's Shemar on Shemayim. Over the Kilis Lapecha. What is it?
I was going to say, why is that a better proof?
I'm going to say right now. Over the Kilis Lapecha, the Bar Mashmil Lapecha, all of them is a kasha except for Shmir. You know why? The Rebbe how did she know that Toman? How did she know that Toman was talking about himself when he said over here, "Mi Ish Shachofetz"? How does he know that? Because the music, the Svurhi, didn't have the Inish the Chush of Malkum said there was no one which is better Meru to Chush Melech like him. But Haiku Kumafish Tivoma, and he was going on, he's saying over here, Yuvi Levish Malchus Shluv Behamelech. It's a Zicher. Adatan Hashakom Zicher meant himself. What else did he mean himself? The Rebbe the Kiva said to be a TS and a Sas Chaim by any color. Tell me, Krebluza says, do me Malamach called Achad, like Wosa. Everybody said she's my hours. Well, because what they say that she belongs to them because they found favor. Vudre Maya, Dilme, Krebchiva Abed, Omala later, Bixiv Seder, Schnei Tasimoyu. They spoke in a certain language, and therefore, because Habat was in the Sanhedrin, therefore he spoke also in the language they understood what they were saying. He understood the language, not because Yichak Kodesh. Who did R Yossi ben Damascus? Dilma, Pistika Shad. They sent letters out from the entire kingdom to tell Haman and Matcha and Esther. By the way, you should know, Kiddush Hashem, no one took any spoils of war. So that's what should over here. The Shmiel, however, Shmiel, Vadeles Apeche, according to Shmiel is no kasha. How do you know Kimi Vikibli? In my Bricha Kodesh. Which is a kasha? The Kusha, second toast over here, the Kusha. The Shmiel Melech Apeche. Do Ruva Kifa, he don't have Parik Rebbe Kiva and Shabbos. Mekama do Rabbi says Shekibli Shaidish B'Maya Chashvaidish. He says Kimli Vikibli Yidum Makabel the Torah Mahava. Very famous. Everybody knows this Gemara. Yidum Makabel the Torah Mahava again on Purim. So he said we need the pasuk of Kimli Vikibli, not Kimli Vikibli over here. Kimli Malo Masha Kibli Matu. The Kimli Vikibli what they were Mekayim already. Bizman, but that Makabel again right now by Purim. It's a cruel Drush Rachina. וישלמה דלחושב הפחד והושע פשמיני מן התרצה ולדום ההפדש ושהפחד דרך אסס אביסם ללגמרי. It's a swear, but this is, I can use the place by two things. But there's a beautiful Torah from the Vilna, some say it's from Rabbi Ledu of Brisk, beautiful words. This is very geschmack. There's a dik, if you look on the Gemara between Shabbos and the Gemara in Bruchas, in Megillah, there's one word difference. Here the Gemara says, Shnema kimi v'kibli. There the Gemara says, Tiksiv Kimi v'kibli. Why does he say Shnema? He says Ksiv. So because over here, the word kibli is a kri and ksiv. The kri is taka kibli, but the ksiv is kibel. Lushan yochot. The blue is a very geschmack. The yidna manama kabbalah term has sinai. Kabbalah implies something which is done mahava. Something which is done over here mahava. Also in Mishnah Moshe kibel Torah Sinai. Moshe was makabel Torah. Why Moshe makabel Torah Sinai? Because Moshe was the only one which was makabel Torah mahava. So Moshe was makabel, but Eden was a kofelem hachagigas. Eden were forced to be makabel Torah. Therefore, they weren't makabel over here. This is a geschmack. The ksiv is a kibel. Zuktig and Shabbos like this. Kimi the Eden were makayim now. Mashe kibel. What Moshe Rabbeinu been singular was makabel. Only one person was makabel the Torah. Bahav, the Moshe Rabbeinu was. He was Moshe Kibbutz Torah Sinai. Is the Gemara Megillah making it in Shabbos making it dig from the Ksiv? The Ksiv Kimi v'Kibbel. Ki the woman kind now by Purim Masha Kibbel Kvar with Moshe was makabel Torah. Here the Megillah was going to have a shenem on the Kri. Maybe it says Kimi v'Kibli. Kibbutz Yidden more makabel Torah in Har Sinai. That here the Kriya is Zechron applying. Here the Kibbutz is going for kid. They're Mekayim Lamala Masher Kibbutz the Yidden makabel right now, Purim right now, and that they were makabel. Beautiful word, either from the Lagoon or from the Bari Leib. It's a beautiful word to hear the Dikaveh to say the two Gemurs over here. Zungmervat. This is what people say. One seed of a pepper is better than a whole bowl of pumpkins. What does that mean? So it's a nice word to say from Remnusen Lubart. They say that, I mean, it's Pashas means over here that sometimes they have something which is like once Shmuel was a younger Moira. He was one little small thing, and he was much sharper than the rest of the whole big thing over here. It's a different word over here. Sometimes you have a dish full of, pumpkins, whatever it is over here. Without that one dip inside of it, it doesn't taste good. That means they had all very good spirits, but each one was a kasha. But one shmiel, borerai, which not done kasha, now we can establish all what they said is also good. Now all of them, everything they said also makes sense. He is the dip to what they said. He is right now the Piltilta. He's over here, this sort of the sharpness of it, which makes things flavor into what they said. Not that he wipes them out. Their spirit is also true right now. He brings me, it makes sense. If Yosef Mehochre v'Yimaya Pirim Ha'elu LaYav Techiyidim, that will never be removed. How do you know never be removed? Richa Kodesh. Merachim Yitzuk Mehochre v'Zichem LaYosef Mezar. Same thing. Richa Kodesh. Shan Mish B'tu Severim Zechim B'tu Severim. Umer Yosef. Imeshloich Munis Ish L'Rai. So it says the pasuk of here, Mashloich Munis L'Shir Rabim Ish L'Rai B'Shir Yochid. If the Loch Ish Shtai Munis L'Sheichot, to give two Munis for one person side. And Mashloich Munis has to be you give two Munis for one person. And by two Severim it says plural. And plural, Rabim. Two matunis for two people. So you have to give one matuna for each person over here. The Sarah Shiva, the Loi Ruf makes a dik over here. Why does it say over here, Shtai matunis ish echad, and Shtai matunis l'shnei bnei odom? Why does it change over here? Because the halacha l'matzah is a chim which is brought down in the halacha that a person should not give mishlach to a woman, zichnat aishasish, because it's well, you're sending to a woman over here gifts. But to some you're allowed to give to a woman as well. So mishloich munis be ishler ishleichad, you should give it to man, mishloich munis. But Matuna Sevyanim keep it to every single person. The Vida to see a Shudalai that Reb Oshia Atoma the Igla Tosir. If she Revita Nussi sent to Reb Oshia the thigh of an Egel Mifcha, which is what an Igla Tosir. Actually, it means over here a Shlish in the bet, and the third, which is born. What place actually means the third of his lifespan. Then it's the finest of the meat because it's the third, which is ready. The first one's not as good. The third one, which is born, is the best. The gaber chamre at a chuvis of wine. Shuda chesed. Oshi sent to the bida. Time to be the binding mishloich munis ishlerai. Came over here because he sent over two. He sent over wine, and he sent over here the chicken. This is about the rai over here. There's a misconception. You have to send two brochas. Nobody knows where it comes from. This minute you send two brochas. It's one of these things. But here, fresh over here, they sent over here. Okay, why is over here? As I get from what I'm saying, but there's a misconception. Rabbi Shuda Laili the Muli Bamar Bayat by Sitabai, which also right to the famous word from the Chainim Tan Urchane that the Mashlech Muli should be sent through a shliach. So you see, Rabbi sent over here through a bay. Mule Taske the Kashbe, he sent over here a sack full of tmurim. Mule Kurse Kim Chadavishne sent over a cask full of kemech from like roasted chitim. Omel Abaya. Now Mary will say, if like a farmer becomes a king, he still does not take off the basket off his neck. Let's say Rabbi came from like a poor household, then became Rosh Hashiva, but he's still selling such sheep lechmunis. Like he still doesn't know it's not mabatish. You know what I'm saying? Who the shachalai when Mary sent back to Abai back to Rabbi, Mula Taskas and sent over here a sack full of ginger. And they said, I think full of pepper. Now you will say, Rabbi will say, I sent you nice sweet things, and you sent me sharp things. The Moshe says it was a deeper joke over here. Rav Mary's name was Mary. Mary implies mar, bitter. So you're saying a joke that you're sending something which is like your name. You're sending over here something which is sharp over here.
They're all sending stuff that's not edible.
And it has to something which is because the shalab mishlach has to be something which you can eat straight away for the seder. What Rabbi sent was edible. He sent over there roasted, wheat which you could eat normally.
You can eat that straight.
And the tmurim which you can eat as well. Yeah, both you can eat as well. Ginger is a spice, and there's both spices. So you can, yeah, exactly. Yeah, the chayr. Yeah. Chayim. We'll be right to that. Yeah. Omer Bai Kinufkiman by Mar. So Bai says, when I went out of the house of Rabbi, I was zat. I was full. Kimat Rus, when I came to the house of Rav Meiri, Krivili shit they bought me 60 plates. The shit mina kedayra from 60 different mina machulim. Okay, we know very often how you use the word 60. It's a Lushan Gizma. So some Farshim Serbia, it's Lushan Gizma. But also the shit and flick and 8 over there, 60 pieces of each of the things over there, chaticha from every plate. A bishop Israel from the last tavshul have a kulilai that was called stikada. A boil a machas to a basai. I want to eat the plate afterwards. But she says because the plate was also edible. It was like you go to a simcha, you have like the bowl is like made out of. So you can eat the. It says over here, and the Chudu writes there was once in a place, and he saw that the bowl shlachmunis when tamish was made out of sugar. The entire thing, the plate itself was made of sugar as well. Like the kaim over here that was meant to be the plate is over here. And uni sometimes hungry doesn't even know about it. You don't know that you can have. You don't listen. You're hungry. You want to get like real food. You'll see. When it comes to sweet things, so there's always space for desserts. This is a longer shmiz, but if you look throughout Chazal, you see a very interesting thing, and I've studied this at length. Chazal described food in a way which it seems sometimes like so delightful, so beyond our taste buds. Like it's gewaldig. There was such good chicken that between 13 pieces of bread the fat went through. It's magnificent. It's something like wow, it's almost fantastic. But there's a Mishnah site to say the Mishnah literally time papyrus. When the Charbon came, the time papyrus disappeared. I think we really don't but emes, Chazal when they described them in this, obviously it didn't happen in just 1 second. It was like a slow, breakdown. But the food was much better at some time. It was much better. And I actually read an article once in the Wall Street Journal, one of these articles. And actually, not only even from the 1970s to today, food tasted better in the 1970s. I wasn't around in the 70s. I don't know if it's a year around. But apparently, they said that even they've studied it. Farmers they choose yield over taste. There's many reasons why food doesn't taste, but food tasted better once upon a time than today. There's many reasons. They used, instead of cooking with oil, they cooked with fat, which tastes better as well. But this is a Chazal say that literally time papyrus. So when Chazal describes it, we think it was like, wow, it sounds so good. Like, well, what it was a piece of fruit already. But we don't understand. It was much better once upon a time. There's not a chabne before the chabne was better. It's kasher the flash mask. What's the band trying to say over here? What's the gizma? Someone mean flash over here. 60 means over here. 60 mesechta. There's different ways to interpret this movie. The dresh. A Bible oven, but oven. They used to change series with each other. They used to I eat 1 year with you, 1 year with me. So either they were makayim. Some of Shainim hold that you can be makayim meshlech munis by you eat. I'm buying you and eat together the meal. And some say this is a raya. But you can send meshlachmunas to each other. That means that I'll send you, send me. Basically, no one's losing. So uni for them it's worthwhile because I want to send to that person and then I lose out. So make a deal. I'll send to you, and I send you right back to the same thing. You can make meshlachmunas that way. A person is mechayiv to drink on Purim. We'll speak in a moment about this. Rabbi decided of the seeds Purim, but how they did the seeds together. Ipsim, they were gleefing, they drank. Come Rabbi Shachter Zayda, and he came in Shachter Zayda. The following day, boy Rachma Rachi says, "Oh, Shachter, my good friend, responded, and he resurrected him." The Shuna in the following year, Omalais, he said to him, "Nice to have whenever sees the Bakum out of do. Let's come, I'm waiting for a meal." He said to him, "Omalai, no, not over here. We have an S over here." Is the kid over here Adla Yuda? It's called the Rabbi had a Shainim and a Chainim is easy to sigis over here. Lochal Masa Paskin. Some say Adla Bachal, and the Mura does mean over here Mamish Shechter Zayir. It means that he made him sick. They drank so much. Because he held that to drink so much, and he made the Zayir sick from drinking so much. Not actual physical over here. Also, no, it means mamash kipshitoi, and it means you have to be mamash to drink properly over here. Some things over here that you can be mekayim with moving that can come with sleeping as well. But Rechaim point out even with sleeping it has to be through wine because the salakasha. If you have to get drunk, why can't I drink whiskey? I'll drink whiskey. I'll get drunk. Because it has to be wine because the next Purim happened through wine. Because when she gave the drink over there by the whole thing, by Homan and by Zeirish and by beginning and the end, the many parts point over there, Yain was the kid over here. So therefore, it has to be wine as well. So therefore, you have to drink wine and fall asleep from the wine as well. It's all different sorts of mahalch and achainim, how to interpret over here Adla Yuda in different chiyuvim over here. Is a Chacham Tzvi. The Chacham Tzvi says a chiddush at chayiv. Wherever it says with chayiv, it means b'mesiras nefesh. You have to do kipshita. Some bring like that as well. there is a nice word over here which I saw brought down that it brings down that what's the connection between Ure Matche and sorry. Happened to me. Shekeloi miyoyin, as the pasuk says. Now here, so here between Ure Hom and Burach Matche, that every single time we rejoice, we rejoice because of our victory. We're not rejoiced, but we don't rejoice because the downfall of the Goyim. It's not the Nikida we rejoice about over here. Because it doesn't make difference. It wasn't like that even. It's not on Nikida. We're happy because we were victorious. That's every Nitzocha. Except one by Mechis Amulek. Because Amulek is, besides the din over here of Yidden to winning over them, is also Kiboch Em Chazech Amulek. Mulek has to be destroyed. So Dafke by Purim is different. The day by Purim, Burach Matche and Ur Hom go together. Usually just Burach Matche. But that's all we care about, Burach Matche. But Purim, we also need Ur Hom as well. We need to have that the kid as well. They say about from Naftula Amsterdam, that they said by Rasul Salanter was a Tam Mivik, there the Mamash or Makayim, in the Besim of the Purim, Mamash, as it means, properly drunk over here. They said, but emissaries, if we really want, you can find many attire not to drink, not to be Makayim over here. There's harbor things over here. He said, but Matche, he also had many a time to rely and to bow down to Homa. There was many a time, and he didn't go with that time. He went with, the proper way over here. That is why, without any compromise. So Purim itself also, the Shtul Amstam said, without compromise. Purim you do over here, properly over here with no compromise over here. There's an end of Chavot, you say by the Pesach side, that the Pesach is full of Menhogim, which doesn't say anywhere. People have all sorts of Menhogim. Do this, do this. Why do we find there so many Menhogim of Pesach? People are mocked with the Menhogim of Pesach so much over here. So it's a Zavot to say like this, because the Gemara says over here, the Yidden was saved from the time of Tzchish Shloishet Vurim. Shashilis Hashoinam, Babisha, Meshma, we didn't change the names, the languages, and their sprach. Shalis, where's the Torah? You can't speak a different language, you can't speak, they have Galatian names and Galatian clothing. Where does it say that over there? It doesn't say anywhere. So the whole reason the time happened over here, the things it doesn't say. And they did above and beyond. So the different Pesach we go above and beyond even what's in Torah, because that's the only kid of Pesach similar to Purim over here. But again, there's different Mahalchim over here. Everybody, I'm not very good at drinking wine. It's not something which I like over here, but it's different. There are Titan, but it is. When says, yeah, when it's not over here. Some of the Shiurim say that there was they had a song which went Ur Haman, Burach Matche, and they carry the song like you shouldn't forget in between. You can get confused. Some say it means the Gematia, like there's all different halachim and the Chayim and Shayim. Had to be farash gemur over here, the inner over here of. But many Shayim are against the whole idea. Said, "Well, you don't have to become shikah. You're not allowed to. Some say you have to." So, but you should do what how they feel is right. Let's go see a bit vater. So we keep up the hespik. Zug the mission. Now the mission go to a few the dinner movie which I've not specific movie. Over see this Purim Seuda b'layla. Either see that night. Leitza chavusa. My time. You have to do Purim Seuda by day. The Asha of Yosef Kamai the Amayma sat from Amayma. No give leusra buna. They didn't come to Shiva that day. Malay. My time leusra buna. Why they're not here? Dilma Tzidi b'sis permit. He's busy with see this Purim. Mama said, "We'll have an efshel about it. Couldn't eat that night before." He said back, he didn't hear what Ma said, what we saw before. And you have to see it in the morning. He said to him, he taught it to him 40 times. The Dumalai command him until he had it like in his pocket. To say, he has it again against Alocha over here. Look at the Mishnah. Continuing from the previous Mishnah with the theme, Ein Bein, we'll say a few other Ein Beins over here. Ein Ben Yom Tov Shabbos, Eila Echel Nefesh Bevad. All Meluchos Us on Shabbos, Us on Yom Tov as well. We kept Echel Nefesh, Mit Echel Nefesh, everything. To preparation. Let's say you want to cut down trees, cut down something from a tree to Machshir Echel Nefesh. Zev is a Shom both Us. Assist the like Rebbe, the time Rebbe holds Ein Ben Yom Tov Shabbos, Eila Echel Nefesh. Rebbe says, Mat Ach Machshir, even the preparation of it also Mit on Shabbos Yom Tov. My time the Tanakama, he says here, he Eich Asher Yochel Lechol Nefesh, he Levadi Yos Lechem, he Beloi Machshir V'Nat is Machshir. Rebbe Mokru Lechem Belachotchem, all your purposes. With the Chanam also Lechem as well. Lechem Beloi Levchovim Beloi Levchovim. You're not allowed to cook not for goyim, not for dogs. This is when a guy like having a goat on Yom Tov to cook for or not. Mesechta by it's not on Mesechta right now to get into that. With the Chanam who Ksiv he Ksiv Lechem. Kam Machshirim Shefshos is maybe Yom Tov. Kam Machshirim Shefshos depends. If you could have done before Yom Tov, you're not to do on Yom Tov. You couldn't do before Yom Tov, you're allowed to do on Yom Tov as well. I'm by Shabbos in Kipurim Elo. Shezeh is doing Uda. Shezeh is doing Bekuris. Shabbos is here is the Udam Misa, and Yom Kippur is Bekuris. Hulin Tashlim Nikah Tashlim and Shuv is ever the Shemit to say the din of Kamla B'Rabim night. If you do something Yeah, which is on the same time you chayav misa, and at the same time you chayav. Let's say you stole something. Why are you stealing something? You also chayav misa. They say, "Come la b'rabbanai." If you chayav misa, you have to pay. Come la b'rabbanai. The shal is when we say also from kuris and tashlimen only misa tashlimen. Mana masisen der cheni ben hakuna. The Talmud and Bryce Mechina Hakuna oise sim kapin ke Shabbos the tashlimen. Ma Shabbos mischayav ben ashiv chayav misa. Potem the you also put them paying at that time. And that's it. You ripped someone's clothing and you stole someone's clothing. You ripped it. So while you're ripping it, you chayav and karaya on Shabbos, and also you chayav over there. Let's say karaya oif you chayav karaya, but you need to have a hole or something not to get into the whole Shabbos problem. You rip the open you chayav, and at the same time, so you put them tashlim because you chayav misa. So it's well after kepidem is chayav, but now she put them in tashlim. Now with some kol chayav krisis shaloki, but you got Malkus and Bezin nifty with the krisis, and if you get Malkus, you put them from kuris. Shnema the niklo achicho la'anechu. Even Shloka, once he gets Malkus, he's like your brother. Once he gets Malkus, you put of Kuris. They argue on Chanan ben Gamliel. And they hold the Chayav Krisis, even if you get Malkus, you're still not put from Kuris. Moreover, by Rav, they said the Shiva of Rav, Tzmina, let the Mishnah Kabirchanim. Chat the Mishnah, I'm in Kapil the Shabbos, it says, done the Udim is done the Kuris. The Miss, if you hold over here at Yom Kippur, is you get Malkus as well, and if you get Malkus put from Kuris, so both are the same Udim. One is a Misa, one is a Malkus, but they're both. Even Shabbos also some things are different itself. So therefore, it's both the Udim. But Nachman who managed the Yitzchak Duma Malkus b'Chayav Krisis like no, Amish knows Nachman that it's true. Some Chayav Krisis, let's say someone ate Chaylev, they forget Malkus, and the Chanam you put it from Kuris. But the Gabba Yom Kippur, you cannot get Malkus. I'm sorry, I'm confusing things. The no Chayav Malkus gets Krisis. No Chayav Krisis gets Malkus. Tani lit the Bryce Yitzchak going Chayav Krisis b'Chal Hoy. It was Nachal with the Pasha Veroyos. So Gichol Asher Yas b'Chol HaTayves Ayla. Why is Kuris B'Choy say that all the Arois, all the one cloud? So why is it explicitly got a sister, Chaysoy, the ever say again Kuris? The Dina B'Kuris Leva Malkis tells over here that there's only Kuris over here on not Malkis over here. If Ashum I feel the time of Karabunon, Ze Ikazoni with the Udam is the Ikazoni Kuris. Then Ivade Betzim can be Malkis as well. But the Torah says Ein Bain B'Ikar Dvur. Mikra Dvum Shabbos is Misa, Mikra Dvurim Yom Kippur is Malkus, but in Chanama Kuris. But in Chanama it's possible as well to get Misa Enish Udam for Yom Kippur as well.